Hello guys, today I want to show you how to add a falling animation to your image views. And for this I have created this little test application with this image view and a ground. And when I click on the image view, it falls down, bounces a little bit, and then lands on this ground. And today I want to show you how to create this little test application. Well, let's get started. And today we are not starting with the layout file like always, but today at first we create the drawable resource files for the disk and for the ground. So we go on rest folder, drawable, and there we create a new drawable resource file and we name it disk. And as root element we choose shape. Then we can insert the shape here. In this case it's a disk, so it's a oval. And then we use solid and give it a color. Then again we create a new resource file, drawable resource file, and we name it ground. We also use shape as root element, and then here we have to insert shape rectangle, and we can give it again some color which we want. In my case I choose color primary, and that's everything. Now we have this little image views and we can insert them in the layout file. Now let's build the layout file for the main activity. Therefore, at first, like always, we change the constraint layout to a relative layout, and we can remove this text view because we only need two image views. For the disk I use 48 as width and height, and I give it a margin, and we center it horizontal, and we use a source, and this is our drawable disk, and it also has to have a ID. So now we have created this image view, this disk, and the next step is to create the ground. The width is match parent and the height is 40 dp in my case, and we line it around the button and give it, of course, we created the drawable ground. Well, and that's the layout file, and now we can create the main activity class. And here at first we create the objects like always, then we have to initialize them, and then we add an on-click listener to the disk view. So when we click on it, it will fall down. And here we just call a new method, animate fall. And then we create this method, main activity, and now we can add the falling animation. And therefore, at first we create a new float variable, new y. This one shows the disk where it has to fall. It shows the disk its exact y coordinates where it has to be after falling down. And we calculate this with mground dot get y. But after that I will show you why it is like this. But now let's continue. Then we have to create a view property animator, and we name it animator. And this one animates the fall of the disk, and we can give it some parameters. First we give it translation y, and this one shows him where it has to fall. Then we set an interpolator, and this one accelerates the disk. Then we can set an interpolator bounce. This one gives it the bounce animation at the end. Then we set a duration, which in this case will be 2000 milliseconds or 2 seconds. Then we can give it a listener. Yeah, here you can do some things. In my case, we'll just put some toasts here. Here in this method you can put, for example, audio or something like that when the disk is falling. And on animation end, this method will be called when the animation ended, when the disk is fallen down. Well, and now At last we just have to start the animation. So we write animator.start, and that should be everything. Now the disk will fall down. Now let's test it. I click on this disk and it should pop up in post. It started, and when it lands and bounces, then there should be a new toast. It ended. There it started and it ended, and it's perfect.
And now for the interested ones, I will show how I calculated this formula here. And therefore, at first I set the color of the ground to transparent. Well, now you see here is the ground, and yeah, after that you have to imagine where the ground is, so I show it now. I also will remove this, all this, and we have only mground.getY. And now let's see where the disk is falling. When I click on the disk, it falls down here. And you see the middle of the disk is on the ground of the screen. So at the end, well, you have to imagine the ground is like here, and at the end, the bottom of the disk should be on the top of the ground drawable. Like you see, at first we have to add the half of the disk, and when we want to get it higher on the screen, we have to subtract it. So we use disk.getHeight, but only the half of it. And then it should be higher, like the height of the ground, because, well, you can imagine it maybe when we add or when we subtract this one, the disk will fall, or the bottom of the disk will fall to the bottom of the screen. So when we now add the height of the ground, the disk will fall to the ground. Therefore we add mground.getHeight, and now logically the disk should fall to the ground. Therefore, to show that, I make the color to color primary of the ground, and now let's see how it looks.
And now when I click on the button, it should fall down like you see. And well, maybe you recognize that there's still something missing. It's because we added this margin there, and that's why we have to subtract 10 from the formula, and then it should land exactly on the ground. And now it should function just perfectly, and when I click on the button, you see it lands exactly on the ground. And well, that's everything. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it helped you a lot, and well, see you next time.